top 25 qualification due to a tiebreaker that went down to average placement, and it wasn't even a full placement separating them and the upper bracket. Muzz and Spinx, you can see why they're playing so aggressive here in this situation. 281 below the damage threshold. Half of their HP already gone. You can see the desperation start to click in. Active Surge, that's going to hit Spinx before Marius eventually takes him down, leaving Muzz by himself, and he's about to face that same fate. Marius and iDrop, 1100 above, and with 2 eliminations now.
There's only so much you can do. You're 300 below, and the opponents on the other side of that wall are over 1,000 above the threshold. They have all the time in their world, and that's exactly how they played it out.
Chino and Pablo, on the other hand, recognizing Sado, trying to crash his way into where they're currently boxed up. Likely another solo, desperate for some surge, but he won't get the chance to try and recover here. Chino and Pablo, still, they're gonna need a lot more on the day if they really want to try and finish strong. It's an okay first half, but let's see what you got for the second.
Yeah, but this is the type of game we're needing to see out of Pablo and Chino. A little bit more aggression. Get up early on that Storm Surge leaderboard. It's been the primary thing that has been taking them down, causing distractions in their game plan, forcing their hand when they might not want to. And I feel like a lot of other teams are going to start to feel that pressure here. It's going to go from a 2-tick zone into a 5-tick zone. So if you're not already down below that damage threshold, you need to beeline it there, because that's a lot of damage coming your way.
Great job from Osid and Scary, though. Not getting shot, not getting cracked at all on their rotate in. Issue is 21 below. They have many duos in the surrounding area, so there will be opportunities, but they cannot take any damage here.
Scaranosid, though, clinging on. As long as you're above, that's all that really matters here. But Shadow and Virgo, they can really just have fun with it. But what I want to see is them back up the talk that they just administered in that player room during Frankie's interview. Are you really going to win it? Because they told us earlier today, Jacob, they were bringing home game 1.
That's why I don't like it when you try to call your shot, and sometimes you just got to play it out, because you never know in a lobby this stack how hard it can actually be.
This is the talks on EU. Is it a new era? Are these new players going to be the ones that are surpassing Legends, Legacy, like Mr. Savage, who's one of only 5 players to have qualified both for the 2019 World Cup and also this Summit Major? This is a big match for not only him, but also Akira Kurama. They're already in that cutoff. They're very close to being qualified, but they are 197 below. They have not done enough damage. They've taken too much. The Storm Surge has already taken the pressure. It's on.
The one silver lining, though, this is a duo that can afford to have some missteps. And for Akira, things are looking a little bit grim, but even still, he's got so much fighting spirit left behind him. Spots out Basin, tries to get a bigger shot in, but recognizes he still has to just keep trying to make it into zone to begin with, but that'll be cut short. Kazi able to take him out.
134 points is what the cutoff was yesterday for 19. They're not there yet, but they're close.
That's what we'll be looking at here. We got a few games left. And if any of the teams at the top side of the leaderboard will definitely kind of open up the gap down below, but Savage is going to go down. Velo is by himself. And Taco, Takada, there's 31 teams still up. 6 of them need to go down before placement points are even a thing.
But now's the time here for Velo. He's got a solid loadout. If he can pull off some form of huge solo prowess, this will be his best chance to try and shine. He's still having to try and make his way into zone to begin with. Overdrive Grenade gonna send him forward. Still 4 left in the stack, but now the lobby closing in, locking into his position. He's trying to cover off every single angle while sending out shots himself. 27 below. He just needs one more.
Show us what you can do, Velo. Show us what the new era of EU Fortnite competitive is capable of. 84 below, you've lost your teammate, you've gotten an elimination, but the job is still far from finished. Getting cracked, forced to pop this Chug Jug, the pressure. It might be too much.
Yeah, and I think Josh is feeling it as well. Yamzo's already down over 300 below the damage threshold. No extra heals. He has to go, and he has to go now. Koyota's there on the other side trying to block him out, and Josh goes down. And that was a big one for Koyota and Yuma as well, because now he gets a chance at the revive and much-needed surge.
Clicks and Higgs, on the other hand, trying to see whether or not they can tango with some of these other duos just behind them. This is the first time we've really seen them try to be a little bit more proactive with the off-spawn. And while that did net them a general success with that first elimination, it's what you can do with it after the fact. But they need a big-time endgame performance here. They need so many placement points to play catch-up.
Getting to the front side of zone, it's not going to be easy. You see how destructive it is on that layer. Click's taking a ton of that damage, but still finds an elimination onto Agers. Much needed as well. Siphon's gonna fix the HP. Everything else could go to regenerating his shields, and we see how he found that elimination. Agers actually boxed up Clicks, and he made him pay.
What a shot. If you're going to take out anyone, it's going to be that #1 team on the consistency leaderboard. Issue is, it's all up to Higgs now. Clicks has gone down, dropped the Storm Surge to only 11 above. It's now active as well. At any moment, Higgs could drop below. He has to be careful.
One consistent narrative that's taken place all day long for so many teams in some of these endgame moments is just the fact that it's short-lived victories. You find one elimination, you think the refresh is all yours for the duo to share, and then somebody else just takes you out along the way. Chap, Flixie hoping to try and change that fact as they continue to make their way forward, but the way that the zone is pulling, players are going to be able to send it on height. Some of these connections can be
This is one of their best games so far on the day today. They really need to continue to make this one count.
Higgs falls, Ghost and Pix. It's looking bright up in the clouds, continuing to rain it down above while that chaos unfolds below. Velo, he's still up. The solo clutch continues. He's got 43 builds. He's got enough rotations, heals. He's got everything he needs. It is all on you, Velo.
We've seen Virgo get 60 points off the solo clutch. Now Velo trying to see if he can take it one step above, but it's going to be difficult with so many other contenders still in the lobby. Visuals finds a refresh, trying to see if he can send it forward, but the team on height doing a great job at limiting his options. Forced to try and box up, but immediately gets caught out by Nosif. Whether or not he survives it is another story entirely, but Flixie and Chap, they are fully in control of this secondary height layer, a little bit isolated, trying to remain directly underneath the team on height. Also looking to take advantage of the other duo surrounding them. Alex, Reckless going to have some issues here as Flixie and Chap refuse to give up front side.
And somehow Velo slips by unnoticed up until now. He gained the attention of Flixie. Chap as well. High ground now putting pressure. He's out of build and needs a miracle here to survive because he has no extra heals. 63 HP. His run will come to an end. But for Chap and Flixie, this is the run they were looking for.
It's just getting started. Already pushed up to 112 points. They started off the day with nothing last game in fourth, and now once again we're seeing them to continue thriving in the end game. Meanwhile, Shadow Virgo, they called it. We're winning next game. They said it's gonna be easy. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Was it a pre-fire or was it just straight up premonition? Shadow Virgo trying to make sure that they can bring this one home, but they'll have to deal with the swords of Flixie and Chap. They are really building so much momentum right now on this front side layer. 7 eliminations in total, still trying to track down more. Every single edit opening up, leading to shots sent into other players, and nobody is anywhere near chest yet, but can they make it over this next clip phase?
Trying to make it as calculated as possible. Fizz bomb going down. They have their eyes set in the clouds. High ground we go, and you can even attach to some of these trees. They're going to use that to try to take the high ground. Chap gets some good damage, but in comes a third party. Shadow and Virgo, they want some of this fun. They get the elimination onto Flixie, dropping him down further and further into all that chaos. Chap, he's now the only hope for their team.
Issue is, he's left as a solo. 5 elims on the board. Can he continue racking it up? Back and forth, he hits the shot needed. But Shadow Virgo continuing to rain down from above. The issue is, it's a full do on low. Pablo, Chino, can you make it happen?
This is the moment they've been waiting for. It is their best position on the day. Still more yet to come. Pix just on the other side of their wall. Pablo trying to find the opening shots, but Pixie's just so incredibly low. Finally, Chino will bring him down. Chino and Pablo have the world at their feet, but it's all up to whether or not Shadow and Virgo decide to actually shut this one down. Shadow goes up. High ground control still heavily in their favor, and Pablo's finish. It's all up to whether or not Chino can actually bring this one back, but he only has a sliver of HP. But yet still, Chino returning fire and Virgo finding the final shot.
They called their shot. They said, we are qualifying for Sunday. Whether it was consistency or victory royale, they have kept their word. They have showed up and showed out here on the big stage.
Express, I am speechless. Speechless. But you made a prediction before this game that you were going to take the victory royale. Virgo, you just said, what did I say? You said you were going to get the victory royale. What was that last moment like?
I mean, we just went for a power play on height. Shadow just said missed up. We went up, eliminated them, and we just won the game from there. It was pretty easy.
You're always keeping your eyes up top, boys. How are you keeping calm in those last moments?
Like I said, we're the best team, and I knew we were going to win that game no matter what. So yeah, when we try, we lock in.
You definitely locked in. Obviously, you're through to Championship Sunday. There's just 8 games now between you and that trophy. Do you really think you don't have tough competition?
No, we definitely do, but I think we can compete with them. So yeah.
But why does it feel like this is your year? How are you guys managing to be so confident? The fact that you just call this Victory Royale is something else.
I mean, it really is just all practice. You know, we are the hardest grinding teammates. Like, we play all day. We both moved to Dallas. We went away from home, and it all paid off.
Well, you know what? We could never have predicted this back in 2024. You guys as a duo placed 30th. Now they're looking like they could take #1. More games after this break.
I got here. I'm popping in that bit. Wait, short. Got 6 builds? No, max up.
Wait, if you're mid, wait.
100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. Game number 4 goes on over to Shadow and Virgo. Do you understand? Listen, Fortnite fam, come here. Camera, zoom in more. Do you understand what, as a player? No, more. players in the halftime show, Shadow and Virgo are like, hey, we're gonna go in and we're gonna win this next game, and then they go on to do it. Do you understand how crazy as an idea? Keep zooming, keep going. You understand how
I can see your board.
That's good. That's good. Production probably hates me. My gosh, Shadow and Virgo. What the heck? They are built different. Do you, again, at this level of competition, Takada, to be like, yeah, man, we're really good. We're going to go ahead. We'll just win the next game. To then win the next game.
They're not liars. That's one thing I can confirm. They do not lie. You've got arguably the best in the world in creative Virgo, IG held by Shadow. I mean, they called it, they did it, and they did not disappoint.
I really liked the way they did it as well. I think when you look at a lot of the hype takes we saw yesterday, it wasn't as crazy. It wasn't the type of hype takes we were seeing for the majority of the season, where you had people playing really deep in the zone and looking to try and make these shot plays upwards with Fizz. This time around, Shadow goes flying up, he hits the bang, and that's exactly what we've seen them do in NA all season long. A very impressive game from a very impressive duo, and a duo that, again, even though they were here in the lower bracket, every team in that Sunday final has to watch out for these two.
Scary stuff. I just can't get over that, dude. My mind is blown to call for that victory out and then immediately come on stage and do it. Wow. Shadow and Virgo, they will definitely be a force to be reckoned with tomorrow. And I feel like this is kind of one of those situations where if I'm a team and I'm maybe even considering doing something like contesting them, I'm thinking like, yo, they just pulled out Aura.
Shivers. I'd be scared. I mean, with the amount of confidence they have in those creative-like situations, right? When you're taking a clean 2v2, no third party involved, no other teams trying to join the party uninvited, you don't want to go against Shadow and Virgo.
I got to see these standings. I got to see standings, right?
Let's do it.
We got to do it. Dude, we have 2 games left to go. At the top, Agers Ritual still holding on. Ignore the -1. Don't worry about it. That just means another team moved on up. They got themselves a victory royale. Pablo and Chino. Oh my gosh. Suddenly 7th place. Up 18 places to Okada. This is why we say, man, one game can change it all. 11 for them. That was their game.
Absolutely. Speaking of players saying things before the halftime break or during the halftime break and delivering on it, I asked Chino, I saw him in the corridor and I said, yo, bro, what's happening? He said, Lev, man, we just can't get to endgame. I don't know what's happening. We're feeling good, but we just aren't able to get there. This game, he told me, look, we're going to look to continue to play the way we've been playing, focus on our strat, carry some more medkits so we can play in Storm for longer. And look, they're in the end game. They have the game that we know they can have. These are the types of games they were having on EU when they did incredibly well in Grands, where even though you're looking at them here, they don't have many builds to work with, but they just stick together. Both of them playing in the same box, shotgun in hand, and they're always going to hit the key shots that they need. These are 2 of the best individual players in this region.
I mean, they have the experience. They've shown they can perform online. They've shown they can perform at international competitions with the best of the whole world. And it's been surprising that, you know, it's even taken them this long to get a big match like this, but I'm excited to see how it continues.
And that's a great game. Like, the timing of that game is so crucial, because you mentioned it's 2 games remaining. It's crunch time to move up that rapidly there. It will be a big boost for their confidence moving forward.
And that's what gives me hope, right? Not even for just them again. I'm going to keep thinking about all these duels, right? We only have 25 spots. We get through on a victory royale, which means that we're done. We don't have to play any more Fortnite today. We can just focus on tomorrow. Or Tokata, we need to play out these games, try and end in the top 19. So many of these other duos are well outside that bubble, right? They're thinking, with 2 games left, maybe we can't even get points enough. Maybe we need to strike and try for that victory royale. Maybe that's our only way in.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is on. There's 2 more spots left, but for the teams like Pix and Ghost that are in 5th place on the leaderboard after jumping up 8 positions, I mean, it goes back to the narrative I was talking about in game. On EU, a lot of our veterans, our legacy talent, I mean, 2 of our global champions didn't even qualify to here, and now we've got players like Ghost, this up-and-coming rising talent. I honestly thought, Lev, I thought they were going to win this game, but Shadow Virgo, they were too good.
Yeah, I think the great thing for Pix and Ghost is, again, they've been really good. They've been really solid. They haven't had much of an opportunity to showcase the type of talent they've had playing together, but we've seen it in bursts when they've been playing with other people. Pix and Ghost, Pix in particular, right? Yesterday we saw a great day for Polish Fortnite as far as Dom and Divash, Cammy and Ari doing as good as they did. Pix looking to try add himself into that crew as well. And for a player like Ghost to have this day to really get used to the feel of the stage, get that experience when, you know, 11-2K's waffling in your ear and you can hear it in the speakers, right? You can handle that, you can handle anything.
It's tough, man. It's definitely tough. We saw another duo as well. Chap and Flixie popping off. We've already seen anytime this duo comes up, the crowd goes crazy. Man, I just keep thinking, man, 2 games left. We need to hang on. We need to make some changes. We need to go all in. I mean, for Chap and Flixie, rather, I feel like they're doing okay, right? We got to stay the course, right, Lever? Or maybe it's that time. Maybe we go crazy. Like,
I mean, I don't know. Like, are the Chap and Flixie fans still in the building? I mean, it's a bit quiet for the Chap and Flixie. When they walked out, it was loud. And they need that support going into these last couple of games because, again, we know if you've been watching EU, their performances have been inconsistent. But more often than not, Zeke, when they need to get it done, they do just enough to push themselves over that line.
When they kicked it off too, the fire, it wasn't fueled up, it wasn't roaring, but after that 3rd match, they got the 4th place, and you can tell how quickly it turned for them. The motivation, the confidence, it was instantly back to where they're in their own element. Another top 5 placement now jumped right up that leaderboard in literally 2 matches, Zeke.
yeah, some of these players are players that they're not going to come out and just have this crazy pop-off performance. There's almost like a period of heating up. But Tokata, I'm scared, man. 2 games left to go. Let's check out that standings. Let's see who is currently in that 19th place. Coming back to it, Tokata right now, 90 points. GRX Randu, look, up 17 places. But again, Tokata, we've got 2 games left to go. That heating up, if you're not there, you need to have it right now.
I know the French fans are scared as well. I mean, we've got 18th place. Momsy Skyjump dropped down 8 positions, right kind of that cutoff. Right now, 19th is at 90 points. Yesterday, if we look at top 19, it was around low 130s, that bubble, but will it be the same today?
Mr. Savage and Velo sit in 24th, not the spot they want to be in, but within touching distance of being able to push themselves above. Still so much talent on this page who's yet to do it. Nathan and Nebs, big names there. Harvey and Diminished, again, a duo that you would expect to be able to have made it through. We have the likes of Sato, Podesai, Epic Woe, and Pump. I mean, for some of these teams to not make it would be a big, big upset.
I'm scared for Javi and Diminished too. I mean, yesterday they were like 1 elimination off qualifying, and now once again they're right outside of that bubble. I know they're feeling the pressure.
Man, 2 games left to go. It's now or never, duos. We need to put the pieces on the table because after this, 25 duos will be going home. Casters, second to last game. Take it away.
I think at this stage of the game, I've seen so many third parties. I have to continue the third parties here on stage. Vinny, welcome.
I'm excited, man. I'm not quite as tall as Levin, so we can't really do this height gimmick as well, but I'm excited. We've got 2 more games of competition. So many big teams that are actually outside of that top 19. It's going to be really exciting to see what happens.
But so many teams that are also just so close. I mean, the striking range, it's right there. It's visible, but can they actually overcome? We'll find out here in Game 5.
Game number 5, the penultimate chance for our duos to make their way into the grand finals. A huge game for so many of our teams outside of that top 19. And for those that are in it, it's just about staying.
And it's coming as no surprise that yet again, Medius and iDrop are looking to try and see whether or not they can win out on an off-spawn battle they've been dealing with all day long. But more importantly still, Jacob, whether or not Podesai and Sato are going to be able to have any sort of comeback potential because we are in game 5. Medius and iDrop are nearly there, and it starts right here, right now. Chi and Giannis so committed to this rock fight, but it is just sticks and stones for both these teams. Giannis gonna depart first of all, utilizing some of that bush tech to avoid taking any kind of fall damage, but the damage has been done. Both of these teams definitely injured.
Yeah, unfortunately enough, Giannis, the down that they were able to get on top of that rock, he has a chance at the revive. Interesting enough, he's not necessarily going to go for it just yet, just trying to drop down and keep pressure. He does have a loot advantage here, and his teammate is down below. So yes, he is going for that revive. So Giannis, you're definitely on a timer here about how many decisions you can make.
Giannis going to do right there. We're going to have to wait and see as we move on over to a team that had a fantastic last game. Pablo and Chino all but qualified through, but they need to make something happen here at Sandy Strip in order to stay in this game. This is a big game for them, Saka.
First things first, they want to get rid of Minipio and Pupu, and they are sick of having to deal with being contested. And they know even if they bring it back in today's competition and make it for their seat on that Battle Bus in finals, they still have to deal with Victor V and Kanata. It's not like the off-spawn contest is ever going to let up. It's about ensuring that they don't have those small little mistakes in the next stage.
Yeah, and at least they're getting a good amount of practice. I say that loosely because we're in a live tournament on land across so many teams from around the world, but at least they're playing a little bit more and more like themselves in each and every passing game. I said it during the action in that last one, this is the best we've seen them play so far. And I want to see more of our teams, especially the ones that might be a little bit further on that leaderboard than you would expect. Get a little bit more aggressive, take control of your destiny.
This, though, bit of a fight here. It's Alex Reckless down. Alex is a solo. Liam and Jace having to close on in here, but taking it very, very calmly. Playing up on above as Jace drops on down. Alex looking for the revive onto Reckless. Not quite going to be able to find it. The pressure keeps coming through from up above. Alex trying to do anything to find that initial shot. Hits an angle, but not quite connecting with the shot. And Reckless is able to get finished there as well. So huge moment here for Liam and Jace to close out this fight.
Alex just stuck between a rock and a hard place, though, and dealing with the likes of Jace, just too healthy. The HP advantage working against him entirely. 160 points. Liam and Jace are just freaking of confidence right now, and they have good reason to do so, but Clix, on the other hand, it's all going to come down to a Game 6 performance. And it's not even about consistency. It's not about a strong placement. They have to win.
That is absolutely insane. Going down, they gave up the majority of Wonky Land. They try to push a whole nother team to catch off guard, but that's been Ghost and Pix's strategy all day long. They want those teams to go out there and feel a little bit too comfortable, so that way they're waiting in the shadows and they strike and take them down. They move one step closer to Championship Sunday, but you see the drops continue to move around. Minute and Salco, that was one of our 3 teams landing at Sandy Strip. Now they go back to the spot where they were landing in the upper bracket.
Yeah, back to the basics, back to what they know, and it's going to be interesting to see now what happens to Clix, of course, in that final game. If there's a player that can rise to the occasion, if there's someone that's going to win that final game, it's going to be huge for them.
A little bit of an opportunity here to review what's been going down with Chap, and Giannis, unfortunately, won't be able to withstand the pressure here. Excellent usage of their time, though, just trying to make sure that they take out anyone they might be able to stumble across. Fadil and Ju, very much a similar mentality, though. They definitely like a little bit more eliminations, but they're really just looking for consistent placements.
Yeah, and he could just feel the arena cheering these guys on. I could close my eyes, have our observers switch through our POVs, and I'll know exactly when they're on Fadil and Ju every single time. Ritual and Agers looking to continue to get aggressive as well. Over towards Frigid Fortress, they essentially already have their spot secured, but they don't want to just take part in the day. They want to take over. This is a huge warm-up opportunity for a team like Agers and Ritual.
Huge fight, though, for Osid and Scare. These guys 52 points outside of that top 19 threshold. So we've got 2 ends of the stick right here in Agers and Ritual. They're already qualified through. They're more than happy to take this fight. But for Scare and Osid, this could be the fight that defines their weekend. Will we be seeing them tomorrow? This is such a huge fight for them to win.
Scare and Osid also know that they have time working against them, because even if they're able to draw out this battle, it doesn't fare them any better because they still only have 52 points. Even if you take out the duo that's contesting you're still going to need so much more heavy lifting to be involved. Flixie and Chap, on the other hand, though, they are just happy to try and keep things through and through. But it's Ju and Vadil that are on the receiving end of it this time. And Chap, he's just not letting up. Maybe even a little bit of fire lit underneath him. Reason very openly trying to cheer on his former trio mate. He wants to see Chap in the finals. And Chap might just be able to do it if he keeps playing the way he has been.
Super aggressive. They get the elimination onto Ju. And with Ju and Vadil going down, you see them in 11th place on that leaderboard. They're high up, much more high up than top 19 for now. But what they're doing is they're inadvertently allowing teams at the bottom of the leaderboard to get more points because the top side of the leaderboard aren't taking them away anymore.
Yeah, tough there. German on German violence, really difficult for this crowd. He sort of had a bit of a weird reaction there. It's like, do we cheer? Do we boo? I don't know what's going on. But for a team here in Velo and Mr. Savage, they are outside of that top 19. How do they approach this? Are they going to try and go for that win? Are they going to try and make that crazy high play in endgame? We've seen them have a little bit of solo clutches from Velo. We've seen that throughout the season as well from these guys. It's been one of their downfalls, really, is those end games haven't been together. They haven't been consistent enough in those situations. So they need to make it all happen now. With 2 games to go, this could be the end of their weekend if they don't make something happen quickly.
Definitely want to give Velo his flowers, though. He has been left in a couple of very difficult positions and still managed to come up with some form of placement points through it. But now, all they really need to do is synchronize. If they can make it through a solid end game here, that could be the separating factor between outside of top 19 and making it in.
Just unfortunate. I see Nebs just in the water, swimming along. He's hoping to go towards the north so that way he can try to get the reboot back onto Nathan. But then here you have it. Sky Jump Momsy trying to make a lurk play happen onto Ghost and Pigs. If this one breaks out into a fight, that'll be a blessing for Nathan. But if it does not, you just have 2 teams that can still float around. The shots are going to be fired out, but you can see what they're after. 2 empty item slots for the Sky Jump inventory, just picking up bandages. So you see they're just after scraps.
Yeah, they gambled a lot on that play right there. They were hoping that one of those guys was going to go over to that chest, they could catch them off guard, make a little sneak play, but because they didn't make that play, Ghost and Pix, they're now a little bit behind Sky Jump and Momsy. They didn't get all that damage that they would have wanted. They didn't get that refresh, so for now, it's just about playing catch-up.
Nebs might be far out enough in open waters, though, to avoid the peripherals, at least from Pix and Ghost, but actually bringing back his teammate will be a whole different slew of problems. Osid and Scare, though, they have not been able to find a conclusion at this exchange over by Frigid Fortress, and this is starting to become a worst-case scenario because the more time invested, the more materials invested, it's not like they're having great opportunities to refarm all of those mats. Meanwhile, Agers, Ritual, they can do whatever they feel like.
Yeah, for Scare and Osid, they essentially need a decent game here to keep them in contention of consistency, because if they go down or even plays some more of this game out and don't really get much to show for it, they're going to be another team on that list that needs a victory royale going into our last game of the day. But as the dust does settle, Age of the Ritual probably get bored. They go one way. Osid and Scare use this as an opportunity to finally disengage. For the majority of this early game, they haven't been able to loot up. They haven't been able to get materials, so they are so far behind the curve.
That's been their problem, especially when you get the south zone like this. It becomes very, very difficult to then continue to try and catch up with the rest of your game. Liam and Jace, we saw them in that fight against Alex earlier on in the game. That was a difficult one for them. They couldn't close it out that quickly. So for them right now, they're looking for a little bit of a lurk play here from Kerillian and Yagu. What are they going to do? Are they going to wait? Of course, it's in the storm, so that's the damage is ticking, Taco. What play are they going to make? And yeah, they're just going to wait for them to go on through.
Liam and Jace aren't in any sort of rush, but an opportunity is an opportunity, and if Kerillian exposes himself for 1 second too long, or Jargu even, Jace and Liam, they can line up the shots. It's a great opener. Kerillian completely flushed out here, but Jace, Liam, will they be able to fully close it out? The delay has been set in stone. Jargu with the backup measures means that Liam and Jace forced to pull back.
Yeah, and I like that decision right there, because it's easy to feel like you got the green light to go. You just did over 100 damage. They're already weak to the zone, but they are also weak. They're one shot away from going down themselves, so they make that smart IQ play to go ahead and disengage, heal up, and then make it to zone. QNDX and Phantom trying to do the same thing. 90 points. They don't even need a massive game here. Again, you just need to stay in contention to making it possible to qualify through consistency in last game.
It's a really awkward position to be in where they are right now. They could need a win going into the last game if this game isn't quite as good. They're not so far into that top 9 team where it makes it so that they can just play out their placements. Really, really awkward for them right now as Chino and Pablo Wingu in this fight inside of the Storm as well. You can see the distribution of teams here. Chino and Pablo Wingu in 7th place. Team they're fighting all the way down in 43rd. So a huge fight for both teams here. Chino and Pablo look like they're going to be rotating on that.
All Taya and Bobby are hoping to do is try and dissuade Pablo and Chino from wanting to follow up on that engagement. But Kerillian and Dargu, they've now seemingly got themselves in a fight with Chap and Felixi. But I have a feeling Chap and Felixi were likely the ones who tried to start this one. They've been picking fights the entire lobby so far, and they don't seem like they have any intentions of slowing down.
Yeah, I wouldn't either for Chap and Felixi. The way this day started wasn't necessarily the best. They even got surprise contested in one of those games, going down off spawn. But since then, they've been putting their foot to the pedal and speed running their way through this lobby. But now Salco and Minute, they want some of those fights, but Minute immediately gets shut down by Champ. A huge shutdown as he goes back to back, taking down Salco as well.
Huge, huge, huge from Chap and Felixi right there, showing why they're one of those duos in these sort of lobbies that you can rely on in those big fights. They do it in EU, they're doing it on this big stage here as well, and they're 2nd place right now, so could they move up into that 1st place? Really important they got that fight done quickly as well. There's another team lurking, so the speed at which they finished that fight was absolutely crucial.
Dargu and Kerillian are also probably very happy about the fact that Chap and Felixi were so distracted by Minute and Salco, but teams just continue to try and aggress. Liam and Jace also getting a little fraggy with it. Epic Whale and Pump, on the other hand, they've really got to do what they can to try and scope out the rest of the lobby. Riptides has just been so back and forth. There haven't necessarily been a whole lot of opportunities for them to even present themselves in the endgame just because of dealing with that contest.
Yep, but all you need is that one big game to spark that fire. And then from there, there's no looking back. Chino and Pablo here in this day is a huge example of that. Jason, Liam as well. All you need is start to build that momentum. They already have 6 eliminations. And if I'm Chino and Pablo, I wouldn't have shot their way. I wouldn't have gained their attention because they're all but qualified, almost nothing to lose, and they're looking to get aggressive here. This is 2 more eliminations, 8 more points, 1 step closer to the top of the leaderboard as they're barreling down, trying to get control, but Liam bites off a little bit more than he could chew. Chino makes the play to take him down.
They're fighting one of the best fighting teams in World of Fortnite, so that was only going to end one way when you anchor Chino like that. Huge elimination for him, 460 above the damage threshold as well. And you can see them in these games. They're getting so many of these eliminations, so much damage early on in the game, and you can see it just compared to the rest of the lobby. That's what they're so good at.
Respect the hustle out of Liam and Jace, but unfortunately, Chino and Pablo have already determined who's going to come out on top in this one. Jace takes yet another big shot, and that's going to do it. Pablo finds an elimination there, and now these guys will be able to move forward, no problems whatsoever. That last lobby really seems like it started something big for Chino and Pablo.
Yeah, each and every second that passes in this game, it feels like they're just moving closer and closer to the promised land. Phaser, King, we saw early on Clix and Higgs go for a fight towards the top side of the map, which means Phaser and King relatively uncontested over towards Wonky Land. And when you look at teams and you're uncontested, especially when you're at one of the best POIs in the game, you have to make these games count.
This is now or never right now for Phaser and King. You don't know what Clix and Higgs are going to do in that final game. It's going to be so, so important for them to make the most of this game. Likewise, Sphinx and Mudds, you don't know what's going to happen in that sort of off-spawn situation. They've struggled today. Taco looking good in this game, though, looking above the Storm Surge threshold. Looking good for them.
All Muzz and Sphinx were after at the start of this day was seeing whether or not they could actually find quick conclusions towards that off spawn, but Nathan and Nevs just haven't provided it. They seemingly counter-stratted exactly for that circumstance, and even with Muzz and Sphinx trying to goad them into the engagement, they just weren't taking the bait, and I can't blame them because it's a complete stark difference of the two dynamics between those teams, and it's left them in a really rough spot, but they're not the only ones trying to see if they can fare for better weather here. Medius, tough spot.
Really, really tough spot. Definitely not home and dry right now. And Marius, known as one of the best fraggers in the world, haven't really seen that from him in EU for a little while right now. What better way to solidify your spot, not only in the grand finals, but also as one of the better fraggers in the world. Reclaim that spot. All that hype that was surrounding your name has to now do it as a solo. Needs to break into those placement points just to propel himself and iDrop into that position. Because, of course, it's not going to be easy for them, Jacob, but this is the player that you want in these situations.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be needed because, again, he doesn't need to win. He's at 108 or so points. He just needs to get as close as possible to that threshold and then, again, perform well in game number 6. Flixie, Chap, 541. Again, the spark has not gone out from these guys. Elim after Elim, they're just getting better with each and every passing game. And now they're just looking at the backside of zone because they pulled it. Everybody else on the north end, that's a max pull.
It's almost like everybody kind of just forgot for a while now that Chap was heavily regarded as one of the best, and now he's trying to showcase exactly why. His fighting abilities are just still at the top here. Flixie and Chap waiting to see whether or not they can actually pick off some other pieces of pie here. Duo's trying to scrap their way in, but Chap realizes, lost track of one of the teams on high ground, will pay the price, but he's still up and running, so that's going to at least keep them going forward.
Huge refresh for them. Epic Whale and Pump shaping up to look for that early high ground right now as well. This is a team that desperately need a good game right here. You want to take as much pressure off of that last game as possible. They're in a really nice position. 0 eliminations so far, but above that threshold as well. So they're able to keep a lot of those heals. You can see it by their inventories. They really need a big game here to solidify their spot.
Yeah, we've seen so many teams with plenty of eliminations, but they haven't fared well on Storm Surge, which ultimately caused the downfall in their games. It's the opposite here this time for Epic Whale and Pump. 0 eliminations, but more than enough Storm Surge. That grants a little bit of a freedom, a flexibility to move through some of these games. The Skyjump gets a big elimination onto Nathan, sending him and Nebs back to the lobby with 1 game left.
The problem is Skyjump got that elimination before he managed to tank any ticks of Storm, so he doesn't actually get the health siphon behind it. He's going to find himself still incredibly low before he heads in, but Nebs, this is how the first part went down. This is why Nathan just folded immediately. A great awareness check.
Really, really important for them right now, as well as King and Phaser. We mentioned it. These guys need to have a solid game, but look at this. Down and out of that Storm Surge threshold, 239. They're getting hit as well, Jacob. They need to try and take as much damage as possible without dealing enough as well. This is absolutely huge for them, hopping inside of the box, trying to get some shots away, but there's angles from different areas that are tagging them up. Phaser now down to a solo. He needs to clutch up.
Yeah, in that moment, it's kind of popped above the damage threshold. Only 1 player needs to go down, and it won't be a worry for him, but right now it's active. 1 more tick. That's all he can take. Needs to find damage and doesn't get it. Phaser King, they go down, and they have 1 game left. Everybody else here in this lobby right now really has to make this moment matter, and nobody's really claiming the high ground yet. Savage loses his teammate. You see him scrambling around. Only 100 builds to his name. He's just trying to break through a wall. He needs a miracle right now. Is he going to get it granted?
Chap still looking to see who else he can take out. Unfortunately, the player threshold has fallen low enough. Savage won't have to worry about the surge damage, but he still has to contend with other players in the lobby. He's trying to do what he can, breaking through all of these pre-existing builds. They're just slowing him down, forced to play through that backside of zone, but he'll at least find a moment to pop the last bits of his Chug Jug. Whether or not he's going to be able to escape the eyesight of the teams ahead of him, though, that's another issue entirely. He's got to stay low, out of sight, out of mind, looking for his opportunity, but it's just not going to connect. Savage still needing just 1 more. A refresh would be everything in this instance, but no one is permitting it to go through.
He's looking for something, trying to find anything to get those builds back up. Of course, that HP as well. It is now or never for Mr. Savage. Huge moment for him to solo clutch. Prove why you are the IGL in this trio. Prove why you have the most experience in this duo as well. Waiting, lurking, backside of zone, looking up at height as well. Not going to go for it, hasn't got the build. Getting looked at from so many other players as well, Jacob. This is being difficult for him.
Yeah, but blessed in this moment. The Fizz miss down below, getting some shield. He has the low grab effect. He's trying to move his way through. Gets a flank onto 1. Misses a crucial shot, but Savage has not given up just yet. The zone is closing in. He knows he needs something big here. A full duo to his left. Waiting for him to peek out the box. Shockwave sends him flying. A lost opportunity there. The window is closing. No Sif is inside. Trying to put pressure. He shockwaves over. They're just taking away every opportunity by escaping from Mr. Savage.
But fortunately for Savage, there's still other players in the lobby wiping each other out. He can't break through that last metal wall, but he still managed to secure a decent amount of solo placement points. Every little bit helps, and we'll see just how Game 6 shapes up. But for right now, Akira, Kurama, straight towards height, but it's Phantom and QND looking to play spoiler to that.
They were waiting in the wings, QNDX and Phantom, and Akira and Kurama have to now drop on down below. QNDX and Phantom, the duo from Middle East, claiming the high ground, looking on down at the rest of the lobby, but Akira and Kurama are still lurking. They find a shot and take down Phantom. Huge elimination, huge knock. Can they find QNDX as well? Akira down. It's all up to Kurama, up on height versus QNDX. What's he gonna do inside the box? Finds QNDX as well. Huge refresh.
Top 5 position, make it top 4. Placement points are flying in, but no Sif and Izzy. They're on the high ground. They used everybody's moment of distraction there to take it for themselves. They're one of 2 duos left in this game. Teus and King are going to be down below. We know Kurama's still alive. He's a solo that's trying to run rampant here. He has the build to take control of the front side of the zone. He's all the way down below, but no Sif is there as well.
Kurama, though, he's excellent in these types of situations. He's a solo clutcher through and through, but with only 11 builds to his name and a duo directly ahead of him. King gonna look to challenge. It's not the one you're thinking of, though. And Kurama proving why he's still able to escape. 1 HP in a dream, but he's not gonna be able to break through. No Sif, Terry to take all the credit here now. King is weak, but can he close it?
And he closed it out. No Sif's down to a solo here. Huge moments. King up above. Teus goes down all the way up to Teus up on high. Fuku now as well as No Sif. It's solo FNCS.
This is essentially what we're going to see later this year. Fukun making the plays from up above, but Teus, he's in the driver's seat. Eliminations down below. It gets it stolen away. Fukun is trying to use the Cypher to stay alive, but there's no build on Teus. Shockwave, the only option, tries to go up, and he wins the fight. Welcome to Championship Sunday.
Fukun needed that, but so did Teus and King. And the fact of the matter is, they're the ones who really struck in some of the closing hours here on day 2. Perfect timing, perfect solutions, and we'll see them in finals.
And King, they're all on the other side of the arena, but we've got to celebrate them, Dusseldorf! We've got Ricardo here to translate. Oh my word, King. How insane was that final moment?
Me fala todos os últimos momentos.
Eu tô muito feliz. Essa partida foi bizarra. Tava muito louco ali no final e é isso.
I'm like so happy. This match was crazy and a lot of things were happening at the end. I cannot even explain.
I'm just getting you guys to turn around because there are so many people around the world who want to celebrate you at the moment. Teus, going through the lower bracket was so tough. It could have been that you wouldn't qualify if you hadn't got this victory royale. What did you guys talk about in the player break to make this happen?
So, vocês poderiam não ter classificado se vocês não tivessem essa vitória. O que vocês falaram durante o break para conseguir essa vitória?
Cara, posso falar? A gente tinha mais 3 partidas, então falei com o King pra gente manter o foco, porque cada partida tem que dar ali pra não tomar ali.
They just talk and say like, let's stay focused. We still have a chance. It has 3 matches left, and they managed to get it out.
You are the second Brazilian duo to make it through the lower bracket today. You are going to be in great company tomorrow. Do you think that Brazil can win the FNCS Major Summit?
King, você acha que o Brasil vai ganhar o FNCS Summit?
Eu acho que qualquer um tem chance, é só acreditar. A gente grinda muitos dias para isso, então acho que a gente consegue sim.
He said we just have to believe it. We have the potential. We have to believe that we can make it.
Dusseldorf, do we believe in choosing King? We're going to head to a break. When we come back, it's just one more game until we solidify the Grand Finals lobby.
I'll go here. I'm popping in med bit. Wait, choke. Go 6 build, go. Wait, if you are mid, play. 100! 100! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit game. Number 5 wraps up. King BR Teus find themselves a victory royale in the penultimate game. Massive for the duo. Tokata, this is big, right? You know, obviously, if you're in a situation where you need to either try with everything you've got to break into that top 19 or get a victory royale, maybe that was the second last chance to try and get that VR, no?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. The fans were excited. What I'm thinking, they were landing South Battlewood Boulevard. If we look at the players that have qualified from there, you got Benno Curve, you got Sky Scroll above them. So I'm curious, now that they've secured that position, what are they going to do tomorrow?
Oh, man, I'll be honest, see, you mentioned some of those calls. When the casters made that call for certain players of, hey, this next game you have to win, or that's it for you. Nothing else is gonna work. That sent chills down my spine. It just gives you the sense of urgency of the point we're at. It's why King and Teos' win is so impressive as far as, again, stopping them from having to deal with that whatsoever. A lot of people refer to the smaller regions, right? And they say EU and NA Central, and then every other region's a smaller region. I've been saying to people for the past year, guys, you can't include Brazil in that. You gotta take Brazil a bit more seriously as a region, because not only do they have so many people who play, but the quality of the players as well is impressive. They have 2 wins today. They might get another one, who knows? It's a great day to be from the Brazil region.
They're getting wins. They're holding height longer than NA and EU. I mean, are they really smaller regions? What are we witnessing today?
Dude, I don't know. It's just something different in the air. This is the Summit. It's kind of a sneak peek at what a global could look like, but again, only a single game left to go. I'd love to start taking a look at those leaderboards, right? Ah, man, with a single game left to go. Remember, if you're just tuning in, first off, you've missed a ton of Fortnite. You've missed 5 incredible games. Go back, watch them. With 1 game left to go, this is the lower bracket. We need a VR. We need to end in the top 19 if we want to proceed to tomorrow's finals, or the Summit run is done. Epic Whale in this last game finding a bit of a moment, right? Some momentum to kind of maybe try and piece something together, but guys, with only a single game left to go, you know, it's gonna come down to that wire. But look, 20th place, Tokata, Epic Whale right there, Pump right on the ball. And it's a tie between him and Sato and Photosai at 112 points.
I mean, I even see other names. Mr. Savage, Epic Whale is close above. Visuals, Braids, Marius, Eyedrop. I mean, these do not look like names that shouldn't be on the cutoff. I mean, Epic Whale and Pump specifically. Epic Whale, this is one of 5 players that qualified both to the 2019 World Cup and this Major 1 Summit LAN. The issue is, the only player that's qualified so far is Thomas HD. Then you've got King from Argentina, you've got Epic Whale, you've got Mr. Savage. All of these other 4 players just have not made it yet. Every single one of them outside of qualifying range, and all they have is one more chance, one more shot in this final game of the day.
Yeah, I think when you look at a lot of these guys that you sort of mentioned there, right? We have guys like Clix, Mr. Savage, King, Epic Whale, these guys who we love them for all the amazing memories they've given us, but we big them up for their longevity. When it comes to longevity, you want longevity of doing well and doing good, right? And so the pressure is on for all of those players because we know that they're more than able, right? It's not a question of ability, it's about their execution. And ultimately, a couple of those names will just miss out. I don't expect to see all of them make it in, and so it's about making sure that last game counts.
That's right. Well, really quickly, before we continue the talk, we actually have a blast from the past, rather.
Okay.
It's a Vivid Masterclass.
Oh, he still does those?
What's up, guys? Yeah, listen, Iamzo going into that game was sitting 20th place, a little bit less comfortable than I'm sure he wanted to be. Let's take a quick look at what their game plan kind of looks like. Obviously, they're going to be landing at the same exact spot that we see Acorn and Bolts do, right? We know exactly how this drop spot kind of lands. The powerful thing about this drop spot is, of course, the ability to use the launch pad. As you can see here, these guys are going to be able to use that launch pad to just come all the way down here and land directly in the center of the zone. That is such a good spot. We've seen Acorn do it. We've seen Iamzo and Josh be able to do that every single one of the games so far today. Their problem right now is not necessarily making it to the end game because they have been utilizing that launch pad very, very well. They've also been able to keep themselves above the Storm Surge very, very effectively as well. The only kind of thing that prevents them from even breaking into the top 10 right now is potentially some decision making around when they do get put on the edge of these zones. As you can see right here, they are still technically in the next zone, so they're going to actually opt to go ahead and stay. But the problem is actually going to reside with their decision to not just immediately go towards the center of the zone right now. As you can see right now, if they did it right now, they could get it completely for free. But instead, what they're going to want to do is they're going to go ahead and just take shots and kind of prevent all of these teams from entering in by them. But what makes it very, very hard to maintain this position and make it still as effective as it is you can't, as a team, prevent all of these teams from sort of making rotations around them. Later on in the game, that easy rotation towards the center of the zone that we just kind of looked at is going to be cut off. So I feel like that could potentially be one of their hardships. That being said, I'm kind of judging their game plan as it currently stands. That last game, they did perfectly fine. They got 12th place, and they're looking good going into the last game.
Dude, we should let that guy do more of those. Yeah. You know, we're drawing closer here. We're about to get ready to kick off the final game of the lower bracket, boys. I kind of want to get your thoughts. Really tough spot, right? After this, a bunch of duos are going to go home, right? And others will rise up and start preparing for tomorrow's finals, where game plan has to be a bit different. Any advice, anything you want to see?
I don't know if the word's advice. I mean, it's more how I'm feeling, my emotions. Because as I look through this list and I look at all the legacy, the champions, the names that are not currently in that bubble to qualify, I'm honestly I'm surprised. I mean, the era of Fortnite competitive, it might be changing.
It's a big moment. You said it's going to be time to go home, Zeke, and I think the saying goes what? Go big or go home.
Yeah.
For a lot of these teams, we've seen them have success over the years, but none of that matters unless you can do it in this final game. Oh, I'm excited. These are the games we live for in Fortnite, right? Ultimately, a lot of these players, we won't get to see them past today.
Yeah, and like obviously, I feel like I in this situation, I normally would be like really like more amped, but part of me is sad, right? Like, these are some of the very best players from all around the world. They've flown out here. They've really given us everything. They've left everything on the stage. But some will be going home after this. So I think for all of us here, we just need to keep cheering on those teams, whoever it is, if it's a Savage, if it's an Epic Whale, whoever that may be, cheer that team on, right? Anything can change. This one game can be the difference maker for every single duo out there. Some might be the top 19 right now that might fall out. Others might rise. People at the very bottom of the leaderboard could get a VR and everything changes. The top 19 could see a VR pulling everyone else up. It's so complex. It's so unbelievably complex. Dude, if we don't get a Mr. Savage W, I'm gonna freak out. But I mean, I can't lie, guys. I'm a fan favorite of Muzz and Spinx. If we don't see them make it on through either, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it.
I'm at a loss for words as well, Zeke. I mean, some of the names, as you can see, like Muzz and Spinx, who were so close yesterday, still not able to make it. But as Levin was saying, they have one more opportunity, one last chance to prove what they're capable of. Whether it be a legacy veteran team, whether it be new up-and-coming talent, now is the moment to show what you're capable of.
In the case of Muzz and Spinx, this is a duo that consistently has just had so many doubters, right? But they've been able to overcome hurdle after hurdle after hurdle in this long race that is this season. If they stumble at the final 2 hurdles, it only just reinforces the narrative surrounding their ceiling as players. They have to push through that now.
Yeah, man, I feel like, looking around the room, some of these players, those mentals are fractured or on the cusp. I mean, with so many different names out there, I mean, even someone like Akira and Karama, right, trying to fight through. We saw for a moment last game they had height, and Akira goes down, Karama left a kind of solo clutch. They end up with a 9th place finish there, but still, job's not done.
Job is not finished. You can hear the M8 fans cheering them on. They were so close to making it happen. The good news for this duo is they have racked up a significant amount of points. They have been performing well, and now in this last match, all they have to do is keep playing like they were in these previous matches.
Yeah, I mean, Karama showcasing why a lot of people in EU have been hyping him up this year, as far as just being able to stay in the game, clutch up some extra points for the duo.
HP.
Just the one little bit of HP, but regardless, a successful game. And I really did think that was going to be the game that was, ultimately theirs. And you see the fans there very excited, very happy whenever these guys pop up on screen. And understandably, they've had what has been a somewhat turbulent season, you could say. But the performance today has showed us that they are still a threat to the rest of the competition.
What I like about this duo is I feel like we're seeing a new level of Akira and Karama. We see them make it to finals. We see them always make it to these competitions, but they haven't quite consistently gotten those top placements, and now's the time to show what you're capable of.
Yeah, you almost want to send that message, right? Hey, we're coming out, lower bracket, we're heading up into finals. You want to try and make some moves against us, contest us, rotate on over third parties. Don't try it, right? Don't try it. I want to go back to those standings, right? We got to keep taking a look at the bubble. Those points are way too close right now. Obviously, the top 10, 162. Keep that in your mind, Fortnite fam, as we go into this final game. That's top 10 as it stands right now. But remember, 20th place, tied with 19th, by the way, is 112 points. And even if we rolled on over to the next page, 110 points, 108, 108, 100, right? Like, Tokata, if any of these teams in that top 19 make a mistake and they fall early, everyone else will immediately enter a frenzy.
It's way too close, and not only that, you can look at the duo that's #1 right now in the consistency standings. After the start of the day, their first matches, they only had 12 points, and in 3 games, they've jumped from literally the bottom of the leaderboard to first place in the standings in 3 matches. So it is definitely possible to make that comeback happen, but you got to pop off, Lev.
Zeke, I want to quote one of my favorite Fortnite analysts.
Vivid.
I think he said, I feel like it all comes down to this. One more game remaining. Legacy's on the line. This is the part where I take off the headset and start going crazy. No, we're not doing that bit, yeah. Look, it really is that, right? We highlighted some of these legacy players who have had great moments. They need to have a big one here, because ultimately seeing some of these teams go home without getting a chance to really fight for the trophy tomorrow. It would be a disappointment, not just to us here on the desk, but I'm sure to a lot of the fans. So they got to pull up the goods.
Yeah, man. Dude, I just keep thinking about Clix of Higgs, right? Just as one of the duos who was trying to fight their way back in. But it's okay, right? Again, we have this one game right here, right now. It doesn't matter how your day has been going. It doesn't matter what your off-spawn situation is or what your rotates are or your third party. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Right now, you could get a Victory Royale, be outside that top 19, and change the trajectory of your duo's FNCS career moving forward. Suddenly find yourself in the finals tomorrow. Suddenly you're winning the summit. Like, anything can happen.
Mr. Savage, Epic Whale, Clix, King. There's just too many names that are outside of this bubble. And with only one shot left, the pressure is on. It's time to show what they're made of.
Right here, right now, one final game to close out the lower bracket for the last time today. Casters, take it away.
I can't believe that Levin actually hit us all with the bait and switch. We were ready for the hype man moment, but maybe it's just something he's trying to say for finals. After all, right now, we're just trying to see who's locking in for that battle bus tomorrow anyway.
I think the game carries that hype going into this last one. So many big names. We talked about it going into this second last game. It was like, hang on, there's a lot of big names here. They need to clutch up. Again, it's now or never, Jacob, even more so in this game.
Yeah, on day one, you kind of saw the start of the tournament. Well, forget what I was about to say because the last game of the day is ready. Who goes to finals? Let's find out. Last game of the day, and you really see the difference of the flow of how these games went from the upper bracket game one yesterday, where I think we had 85 or so alive when the first Storm Surge hit. It's getting less and less as each and every game passes here. There's 88 up here in this game, but I think with everything on the line, a Victory Royale, a must for some, or high elim games for others, we're gonna see this one speed through.
Already a different change of pace here, though. Yanis and Cheatin', they don't have to fight it out. Not for this final lobby, but more importantly still, Jacob, I think the big thing is that we're witnessing what could potentially be Crash Out Nation, because there are duos whose only option is to get a Victory Royale.
One of these could be happening right now. iDrop, Sato taking down one. Marius the only one left. They have the HP advantage. Marius and iDrop are out. Podesai and Sato survive.
That is tough, but for Podesai and Sato, this is the moment Levin was talking about. Dreams can come reality. As a Beeb surprise contested in this last game over towards Sus Studios, Randu and GRX. They chose to stray away from the fight of Yanis and Cheatin', bringing the fight on over towards this side of the map, and they already got that elimination onto Cam.
Sorry, Jacob, I'm just still not over what we just witnessed. Radius and iDrop were winning that off spawn all day long, but they lose the one they needed most. Still, hope not completely gone here for GRX. That is until Aviv puts him into the dirt, and Aviv knows just how desperate he is for this one to vote in his favor, because he cannot afford to lose out up against Randu, but it's all over. Randu is going to be the sole survivor here at Sus Studios.
What a clutch that was. That keeps them in it. Aviv needed it, but so did those guys. But look who's here. We've got a third party. It's Cheatin' and Yanis making their way on over. What will happen there? But another team that needs a big game. It's Muzz and Sphinx, and they take down Nathan.
Hey, to start the day, Sphinx say these guys have been running for him. They went ahead and finally caught up to him and get the elimination. Again, these are the games that truly matter. They started this one with around 66 or so points. They get those 8 because of these 2 eliminations here. That first one on an Nebs, he was out of position by himself. Muzz strikes him down.
And remember, Nathan and Nebs outside of that qualification now, so they will not be qualifying through to tomorrow. For Muzz and Sphinx, they're still in it. The dream is alive.
Just giving a moment of pause. Clix and Higgs under a lot of pressure right now. sandwiched in between Savage, Velo, King, and Phaser. But Higgs, he's trying to see if there's any life left in his eyes, but fortunately Clix gonna look for a backup moment here. Savage, Velo, though, they're just so healthy. They're looking to try and steamroll through Clix and Higgs. They want to shut down Exit here in the final hour. Savage and Velo still looking to close it out, but it's Clix with the turnaround. Clix just backed into the corner, fighting his way out, but just like that, Clix taking it home.
He needs to go. He needs to go quick. Sky Jump and Momsy heard the noise from so far away, and now they're starting to go on a chase. Good job, Velo, but how far can you stretch this moment here? Because Sky Jump and Momsy, they're surely on the chase, even using the zip line to try to cut the distance as fast as possible.
Hide and seek for Velo. It's his first LAN. What better moment to announce yourself to the world stage? Can he clutch up here? Can he keep evading the attention of Sky Jump and Momsy? Trying to be a little bit sneaky here. Hiding behind the trash can. He's being very, very careful because he knows what Sky Jump and Momsy are capable of. Has he done enough? You can see them still just looking on over, trying to find this elimination, trying to find it.
That elimination, though, those eliminations on the Clix and Higgs, literally on the live leaderboard, puts them on the spot inside of the bubble. Velo right now really needs to dig deep to figure out how he's going to get out, because it's not only about leaving that position, it's about looting up and getting Savage back.
But look what's taking place elsewhere. Muzz and Spinx, sure, they might have struck first at Humble Hills, but the leftovers of other teams' desires really taking over in that moment. And no Muzz means that Spinx has such an uphill battle waiting for him. Chap, Flixie hanging out still by Dark Dominion. But Jacob, Mini, one thing I couldn't help but notice, Velo stuck behind the dumpster over at Squibbly. He knows that Momsy and Skyjump are trying to chase him down, but more importantly still, there was still Kazi and Davo off in the distance. And if they go near that hill face that looks directly into Squibbly, they will see Velo.
They have to be so, so careful. And as does anyone that gets in the way of Chap and Flixie in here at Dark Dominion. They're a team that have already booked their spot into the grand finals tomorrow. They're going to be looking at conditioning the rest of the lobby. Yuma, Koyota, a team that we haven't seen enough of today. They need to make it all happen in this final game. Remember, this is a team that know this drop spot well. They have that advantage. Hits a huge shot to Chap already, trying to close in on the distance as well, but Chap's able to find the heals. Yuma's trying to find an angle as well, but Chap is able to find a position of healing. Flixie looking for another angle from a different wall, getting looked at from Koyota. Koyota can't quite find a way through either. Chap's trying to find a response, but it's just a stalemate right now.
Yeah, for Koyota, it's a big shot to open up the fight. Unfortunately enough, they were unable to really follow up on it. Big advantage over Chap, but Flixie's even dropped down to just 1 HP before he's eventually knocked by Scare. The third party comes in. We knew this lobby was going to get aggressive quick, but it's happening at a much faster pace than even I have anticipated. As Koyota and Yuma, they need this here. They got some early damage, but they don't want to be a part of this mess anymore. They're using that porta potty and they're getting out.
They need to get out of Dodge because so many other teams already working their way over towards Dark Dominion. Chap as a solo, but you have to remember, he's already done what he needed to. 200 points, safe and secure inside of that consistency metric. It doesn't matter if he goes down, but can he play spoiler to Scare and Osid? They're looking to take up the fight. They know that this is an injured solo, but how much further can they push him? And finally, they get that elimination. Koyota and Yuma, though, thanking their lucky stars that they didn't have to continue that exchange, but it does suck in the end because they didn't get the opportunity to properly loot the bodies.
Some cheating, remember, uncontested off spawn. They're going to have to try and look for the damage elsewhere. Of course, already found that early elimination. They'll be happy with that, but the rest of the game needs to go their way. 34 points. The win is going to be what they're looking at right here, Jacob. It's not going to be easy, though. We haven't seen enough of them today. They haven't performed at their best. And for two players of this caliber, you just expect so much more. Can they do it now?
Yeah, unfortunately for Yanis and Cheatin, all day long, they're essentially at a 50-50 drop spot. You either get the loot, you get the weapons, or you don't. And they've been on the receiving end of a couple losses in some of those games, but the one that matters most, they're still alive. Chino and Pablo, couple struggles to start the day for them. We've seen it yesterday as well. Triple contested, does do things to you at the end of the day, but they have been finding their stride to close it out. And now they're at 190 points, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Chino and Pablo are ready to settle the score. They were hunting Mini Theo and Pukum because they are just way too close for comfort. Pablo and Chino are sick of it being a triple contested situation over at Sandy Strip. They want to and guarantee that it'll just be them versus Victor V and Kanata in tomorrow's competition. Still, Osid, Scare, they're doing everything in their power to just put themselves in a best case scenario to try and win out in this lobby, because that's what they need. They need the BR in order to get into tomorrow's competition.
Here on the other side, Scare and Osid need these elims. They need a big game. You can see very close on the standings at the moment. So for both of these teams, it is of equal importance. And that's why we see Haman right here trying to look for an overdrive grenade away. But oh no, Scare and Osid, they are scary right now. They are closing on through. Haman will not get away that easy. Scare just needs to try and find the final few shots to take him out. He just can't hit them here. They're still chasing him on through.
Spend this much time though, pursuit of one individual. Scare and Osid are lucky that they haven't encountered anybody else along the way. They were beelining for him, and finally they'd be able to cut him off. So Scare, Osid, they add yet another elimination. That's 5 in total. And you could be right. It might just be a go big or go home instance. Maybe the Victory Royale could be in their sights, but it could also just be a lot of points off the eliminations and a strong placement finish.
This is one of those teams right here, Mini Pio and Kuhn, they've been kind of going under the radar until that last game. Almost had me cheering them on. If they would have got the Victory Royale, they could have got a bunch of points to put themselves in control of their entire destiny as Giannis cheating. They know it's not just the Victory Royale, it's the eliminations, because if a lot of those teams along their path, in and outside of the bubble, do go down, that gives them a chance if they get enough eliminations in a high-scoring game to where they might not need the Victory Royale. A little bit more of a long shot, but it's definitely possible.
Hide and seek worked. He wasn't seeked, if you like, as Velo can find the reboot onto Mr. Savage, keeping them in this game, Taco. But of course, their entire game plan, they're now going to be behind. They took so much damage there in those previous fights, so they're going to need to try and find enough damage to make that happen. Epic, Well, and Pump, a really solid game from those guys in that previous one. They need to make something happen here as well, but oh no, Savage down again.
Savage just never got the chance. Teams are looking every which direction. The moment the audio cue sounds out, another player is looking to close in, but even still, Velo at least has one silver lining. And it's a reach in the dark. It's a long shot, but with reboot that just took place though to bump it right back up to 60, they might not have to worry about search threshold, but first and foremost, Velo has to escape. He needs to just find a way to position himself and make it into the zone to begin with.
Just really interesting. He moves on over towards Riptides, but doesn't know they're overstaying their welcome on the side of Epic Whale and Pump. It's Mr. Savage. Another reboot opportunity. This is how he went down to Momsy and Skyjump. And you see on the mini-map in that moment, that's when Velo had no choice. I can't continue to be the hero when you have no loot, but he is going to get another opportunity here.
Saw it right there. 70% of their points have been from solo clutches. That's the story of this season as well. So Velo needs to make it all happen right now, even if it is a solo situation throughout the rest of this game. Really putting themselves under it right now because they've got to make it all happen at the end of this game. A team that don't know Taco, Ages and Ritual, experimentation, trying different things, playing back inside of this storm. Maybe experimenting tomorrow.
And this feels like watching a breath of fresh air in action because Agers and Ritual, they have all the time in the world. They can do whatever they want. They can get eliminated in the next couple of seconds, and it wouldn't make a difference. They have secured their spot for the Summit Finals. But now, Sato, Hodesai, they're also looking to take control of their fate and make it onto tomorrow's battle bus. First, they'll have to contend, though, with the team left over at Wonky Land, King and Phaser. But King and Phaser, they're not interested. They're just trying to play this one out.
Second time is on, maybe. Mr. Savage, can you survive? Yes, you can, but for how long? A little bit of HP. Medkits being passed. They have absolutely nothing to their name. And in a 2-tick zone, they're not going to have a lot of time to actually loot up and get the loadout that they want. So they're just going to be scrapping their way through the end of this game. But at 116, again, they were that team that is on the line. If they could somehow make it out of zone to start scoring some placement points, they should be okay. okay.
Two-tick zone, though. The Storm is moving in. It's going to get increasingly more difficult for them to get on in here in a good situation. Maybe if they even make it in. They don't have any loot. Mr. Savage doesn't have anything. So if this is going to happen for them, they're doing it in style.
Even when they make it into the zone, though, they'll have that constant looming threat of Storm sickness. We haven't seen too many duos threatened by it throughout today's matches, but this would definitely be a circumstance where I could see that taking over just because of how much time Velo has had to position himself inside of Storm to bring Savage back. Skyjump and Momsy, though, devious start. Chasing down Velo from the beginning has now left them in a position where they've got ample surge and they're looking to make their next move.
And for a couple of teams in this lobby, it is looking good. Fadil and Juice specifically, 400 damage above the threshold. They're looking for opportunities for more. Cheat and Yanis, they're the ones in their line of sight, and they cause a little bit of a distraction. It does look like Cheatin was just taken down, leaving Yanis by himself. You got to blame Fadil and Juice a little bit for that causing the distraction. But at 122 points, you see them inside of that bubble, but they are not safe. They still need to perform decently well in this game to secure that spot.
Max full zone, absolute nightmare situation for them right now, but how are they going to handle it? Overdrive grenades goes through. They just decide to white line it here, try and go the easy way through, get on top of this hill. An important position for them to find themselves in as the rest of the lobby also try and find their way on through. Where will they position themselves next? Every single move they make here, Taco, has increased importance.
And for Braids and Visuals, they might find themselves a little bit cut off. Bit hesitant to try and move out initially. They knew that Randu was right next door. They didn't want to be at risk of losing their shields. They're gonna opt to take a little bit more of an isolated path here, wrapping all the way around through some of their pre-existing builds even, but so far so good. Nobody's holding down that hill, still just ahead of them, and so they will be able to work their way into this next edge zone.
Give or take 3 eliminations worth of points for Visuals and Braids. That's how close this game actually is, as Velo and Savage end up in another scuffle. FaZe and Gerald on the other side, but luckily for them, they're 74 above. They get tagged up yet again, 35, quickly falling. They aggress onto him. Gerald ends up in the whole box, but they're just trying to backtrack in their steps. They don't want to give it up here. They're 196 above. Surprisingly, look at their loadout, Spinny. You almost would have never guessed they went down. He takes a big shot, but he fires one back. Gerald goes down. Velo getting sprayed from all around. 25 HP, and they lose control and go down.
There are no winners in this exchange, though, Jacob. Faison might have won it out initially, but he is still inside of the Storm. Everybody else in the lobby looking his way, waiting for him to try and make his entry point. But Cazers, Xavier, everyone else just looking to shut him out.
Modesai Sato had a really good off spawn this time. They needed to make this game count, but no, with Sato going down, Modesai follows. Gino and Pablo continue to find their fighting prowess in these lobbies to again solidify their spot in the grand finals. They're having fun.
Yeah, you see 14th place, 18th place, both of them down, and this is just one of those moments where you have to just sit and wait. Pray nobody passes you on that leaderboard, and maybe even cheering for a team like this, for Chino and Pablo, to take out your competition. But they're at 194 points. They've been on fire as of recently, and they don't look to slow down yet. But as we move in this zone, we're going up towards the top of that mountain. So this one, if you don't have enough builds or aren't prepared for the different elevation changes, I bid you farewell.
12th through 14th, though, those duos have already been eliminated from this lobby. The cutoff range really appears to be where Josh and Zoe were last seen, in that 11th place position, and it's going to be very close here. Braids, Visuals, still trying to do what they can to play leapfrog in the final moments.
Fastbroky repairs, looking to play for that height right now. Chino lost Pablo down to 6 HP, trying to hide away, but it's not going to matter. He's down and out, but they'll be rocketing themselves all the way through to the grand finals tomorrow. What a performance from them.
See Yanis trying to go ahead and shockwave to try to grab some of the loot. But unfortunately enough, he ends up on the backside of that zone, having to figure out a way out of that position. But for Alex and Reckless, OCE's best. They got 4 eliminations, 116 points. Not sure what that threshold is now, but you see they're just outside of that bubble. 1 elimination, 1 placement point, and if one team goes down, they will take it.
Alex was saying earlier on, he's the face of OCE. You want the face of OCE in the top level of competition. Epic Well and Pump here, able to find a little bit of loot here of Kurama. That's going to be huge for them going into this endgame. Of course, the zone's pulling back into that way as well, so they can extend into that zone. But oh no, they're getting knocked on the door. There's another team spraying at them here. It's not going to be easy.
And Badil under so much pressure right now, but just barely going to be above the Surge threshold. Still, he has to try and pick up whatever points he can because it is way too close for comfort. 124 points, 3 teams tied at the same margin. He cannot afford to go down anytime soon. He needs all the placement he can build, maybe some eliminations to go with it.
So many solo clutches this season from Badil. What bigger time to do it for him right now? We saw it in the last chance qualifier in Major 1. He came so close to winning out the game. All he needs to do now is find a few more of these placement points. Getting into those is going to be so vital for them. Fast Roki and Repairs reclaim that high ground as well. And looking on down at the rest of the lobby and looking at their points, Jacob, they need this win.
Yeah, and they're putting themselves in the best position possible to take it. We know high ground wins games, even though low ground might win a championship. It's about qualifying to Sunday. But if Flank comes in, high ground gets contested, Fast Roki goes down. It's all up to Repairs, 7 HP and a dream.
But everything is crumbling right underneath him. Too many teams looking his way. Repairs still managing to drop, avoids the brunt of the damage. Currently, Yuma and Koyota, they are all or nothing at this stage. They want the victory royale more than anyone in this final moment.
But they don't have bills. They're trying to fight. They're trying to find that refresh. It's all a bit of a frenzy right now for Koyota and Yuma. They're not able to find this height hold successfully. It's absolute chaos. Koyota goes up onto height. They're still trying to hold it, but they don't have the bills.
Yeah, they just try and cause havoc. Let some of those shots bleed through. Maybe get the elimination. But Badil, you said it yourself. Clutching up again. 148 points. Sunday, he can taste it. He is right there. He doesn't even need to do much. He just needs to continue to stay alive. Half of the placement points in the game will be granted into the top 10. I think that's the marker he's looking for. But minute goes down. Koyota, Yuma, they lose their high ground. Tiggs.
It's just natural reflex right now for Badil. You leave him by himself, and yet he looks like a duo to contend with. One elimination to kickstart things, but just like that, the scenery can change so quickly. Badil, unfortunately, got out. Tiggs and Danikush are going to be able to prevent him from keeping anything else going. Still, Epic Well trying to change his fate. He missed out in 2023 in a similar format. He's not trying to do it again. 3 eliminations already as a solo. They have catapulted themselves in the standings, and he still wants more.
8 bills for Epic Well, getting knocked at the door from so many different angles. Takes down Fukun. Can he find this refresh? He absolutely needs it right now. Another 4 teams in this game. This is huge for Epic Well in these final moments. They look like they've already qualified through, but why not win it?
Yeah, he has the med kits in the back pocket. I'm not sure how much Storm he's actually tanked at this time, but that could be a second win condition. But up above, uncontested, nobody able to look up, and the only duo left in this game at 180 points, Javi and Minish, and they're firing down onto Epic Well. These are 2 teams. They don't need the win. They're almost already qualified, so it really goes down to Ozone. This is your moment. Can you clutch up? Because Javi, a Minish, they get the elimination onto Epic Well. He has more than enough left on the Chug Jug to get himself healthy before the inevitable happens. The clash between Titans on NA Central. Javi and a Minish, 192 points. Can Ozone do it? Because up they go. A Minish, Javi, they don't want to just take part in day 2. They want to take over. Ozone left by himself in no man's land. Javi and a Minish, take it all.
You can definitely feel a little bit of the panic starting to build up there, but a Minish, he found the one shot that mattered, the closeout, and they will make it into tomorrow's battle bus.
Harvey, it's not bad for your first land, is it? Getting a victory royale and getting yourself through to that final.
Oh, I'm so happy, man. All the time I put in, all the work, I thought we weren't going to qual yesterday. We done it, but we made it happen.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
I think all of Mexico just heard you, Javi. A Minish, I spoke to you this morning. You said there were small mistakes to fix. How did you fix them?
We were just uncontested, I'm not gonna lie. Other than when Chap and Flixie tried to grief me, but it didn't work that well the last game, you know what I'm saying?
It didn't work that well, but you might have to see them again tomorrow because they've definitely qualified too. Looking back to the major finals in your region, a big problem for you was managing that Storm Surge in the mid-game. Do you feel like it might still pose a challenge?
I think we'll be able to figure everything out by the time finals comes around. We have 12 games. We just wanted to get some extra practice in today to see how it'll play out in the finals.
Absolutely. Just 8 games now, boys. Do you think NA is going to come out on top?
I'm going to come out on top, not NA.
Okay, then. It's going to be NA. It's going to be Mexico. I can't wait to see how you do. I can see a Mexican flag over there. Please, Dusseldorf, one more time. Javi and a Minished. Let's send it back to the desk.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Shout out to Javi Inaminish here. Dude, so many things to unpack in that last game. But first, of course, we have to shout out the winners. They get themselves a Real. They secure themselves a spot to tomorrow's finals. But what does this mean for the rest of the lobby? For them, obviously, they got to start thinking, all right, prep begins now.
Exactly that. I mean, not only do they have to go through this excitement, I love to see the representation globally. Javi messaged me yesterday, actually. He sent me a DM. He said, Tokata, how do you have more earnings than me? I said, Javi, don't worry. Get through this weekend. Prove that you have what it takes. And I think we're not going to have to wait long for him to pass it.
Tokata flexing his earnings there for everyone, by the way. Good on you, lads.
Yeah.
Good on you. Look, Javi and Aminish, they have been working so hard. Every time I've been in that practice area, I have seen them VOD reviewing with their coach, TS. Shout out to him. Look, it wasn't the smoothest of days by any means, but what Aminish said as far as using all the games to gather as much information, gather as much experience as possible to take into tomorrow, and they deserve to be there at the end of the day. A great win in a game, Zeke, that was so heavily contested. So many people giving their best final swings to try and make something happen in that game, and these two did it the best.
What's crazy too, I don't know if you saw the point threshold right before we cut away there. They're up there. They're in that top 19, which means they will be pulling someone else outside of the top 19 up to fill one of those spots. These standings are going to go crazy. But once again, shout outs to them. And if you're just tuning in, you have missed some crazy Fortnite action. Here's a look back at the game winners. And as a reminder, every duo who got a Victory Royale on this page, they went straight through to tomorrow's finals. Depending on where they ended up, they didn't have to play anymore. So last game, it's fine. Javi and Minish, they got it. And that's what they'll be playing for, the trophy. But boy, so many crazy things. And I'm getting word, the standings are ready. Let's go ahead. Let's see what this starts to look like with so many big names having these big pop-off performances in this last game. Angels Ritual go in as the #1 seed. Guys, I want to turn attention to 10th place Epic Whale and Pump. Epic Whale, Tokata, you and me were like, wait, this is the old Epic Whale. What am I seeing?
What year are we living in? Is this 2019, 2018, 2020 Epic Whale? At one point, I saw a flash from the past when he was looking unstoppable, winning every single FNCS back-to-back on NA West, and now paired up with Pump. We are back at it again at the Major One Summit LAN. They have qualified themselves to the Sunday Finals.
Epic Whale, when it mattered the most, stepped up. He was right on that threshold going into this final game, and he did not leave it to chance. I mean, you already said it. He was moving, he was flying. Still plenty to figure out as far as tomorrow goes. But that is what we wanted to see from the veterans, the experienced ones. Epic Whale is one of only 3 players who played in Solo World Cup, Duo World Cup, and every single FNCS LAN. And so for him now to be making the final in this one, we were talking about players who maybe got to play 2023's upper and lower bracket format and didn't make it through. He failed last time around. Here in 2026, he makes it through the lower bracket and avenges himself from the past. A great performance to do it as well.
Oh my goodness. Let's take a look. Remember, we need to be in that top 19. And I gotta turn attention to I want to start at 14th place. Vadial, this last game, he shows up and has the solo clutch, Tokata. We were following his perspective And in that moment, dude, again, it's like, it's just a blast from the past, getting these long-time OG players showing up massive. Lev, I was getting hyped.
This season, we have seen Baddiel do this so many times. Takar, you've casted some of these moments where he has been down as a solo and just having to stay alive in a game to keep his dreams alive, and he does it here today.
When it mattered most on home turf, Baddiel did not disappoint. The solo clutch was unreal. Racking up elimination after elimination, but all that matters is we will see them tomorrow.
We've actually talked with multiple players. That solo clutch factor is critical. And finally, obviously, the team in 19th place, Alex, Reckless, we're going to be seeing you in finals.
The OCE dream stays alive. The champs of Major 1 in OCE have not had the smoothest of days. But again, like we said, when it mattered the most, they stepped up and got the result they needed. This next page, though, is where things start to get sad. I mean, some of the goodbyes we're having to give to some of the players who have walked off the stage now, the likes of Sato and Podesai, Visual and Braids, Mr. Savage and Velo. iDrop and Marius. Marius was one of the players on the global stage last year who was fighting till the very end, giving Squeezy, Swizzy and Mustache a run for their money, and he won't be playing in tomorrow's finals. Janice and Cheating. Again, a legendary German player in Janice, not gonna make it through. Koyoto and Yuma, the Asian Peterbot. We all wanna see these guys playing in the final, but the competition, Zeke, is so tight at the top.
I mean, you saw it there. King and FaZe as well. Dude, so many duos. Tokata. It breaks my heart, right? I'd love to make sure every single one of these players got the prize money, the beautiful trophy, but at the end of the day, this is a competition. We are fighting to see who will be the best duo and earn the title of Summit Land Champion. It was very refreshing to see as well so many of these OG players and put kind of forced into these solo clutch situations, firing on all cylinders, clutching up in this game. When the pressure's on, think about the experience they've already had. They've been in these situations before, and for just that brief moment, they find that flow state. They go, hey, I've been here before. I'm going to tap into that. Now it's time to clutch.
The issue is, though, it's just all of this experience, too. We're seeing a lot of these legacy players that have been here before. They were just not able to make it through, but it's that bittersweet moment where you have players like Clix and Higgs who didn't make it, but you have also up-and-coming rising talent showing what they're capable of on an international stage. But what I'm thinking, too, I mean, a lot of those Wonky Land teams, Clix, Higgs, King, FaZe, this means some interesting stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah, we can't just move past this though, man. Clix and Higgs, the start to the year this duo had, all the hype was on Higgs. People highlighted how amazing he was as an individual. The momentum from last year's trio success, everybody believed it carry over into the duos. And even when people try, it just hasn't been good enough. And this result might just be the shock this duo needs, because I think we can all sit here and reasonably say both of these guys are more than good enough to be playing in tomorrow's final. We love seeing them together. They're a fun duo. Whether you like them, whether you don't like them, they are a fun duo. They bring entertainment to not just NA, all of Fortnite. But it needs to be better, and today, just not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like you're saying, we need to shift focus. It needs to be a wake-up call. We have Major 2, we have Second Chance, and then we're going to Belgium. We don't have a ton of time left here to try and secure one of those spots, but ultimately, we still need to give all the teams that made it here their flowers, right? Many of them fought through Major 1, then Last Chance, then Second Chance to be here on this stage. So Fortnite fam, even if your favorite duo didn't make it through, make sure to send them some love. They still fought it out on this stage. They brought every single thing they had. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but that does not mean they are not one of the best players in the world. If they weren't, they would not have been competing on this stage. Obviously, boys, sad moment over because we got to shift focus to tomorrow. Finals.
I think the great thing about Summit as an event is usually we have these conversations with teams at the end of the year when they fail, or they don't have the globals that they were hoping for. For a lot of these teams, a lot of these players, I reckon some of these guys will split over the course of the year. But for a lot of these players, this is the shock they need, so that if they are on that stage at globals, they can remember this feeling. Some of them are in the back listening to me right now. Remember how you feel right now. make sure that doesn't happen again in Antwerp.
Boys, what do we think? Tomorrow, finals, we now know the duos are competing. I'd love to hear your expectations going into tomorrow. I think we have to obviously remind ourselves the plans for mostly so many of these duos. Some made it through. They were thinking, hey, upper bracket, I'm just having a plan for upper bracket and finals. Some had to fight their way back through lower bracket. And we can't forget tomorrow is 8 games. It's not 6, it's 8. That changes, even just adding a handful of games changes so much.
I'm thinking back to 2024 Global Championship. Our winners, Peterbot and Pollo. We've seen a lot of EU representation, a lot of NA, a lot of what people call smaller regions, but with King Phaser, Clix Higgs out of the game, these wonky land duos are no longer looking so strong. We know how Peterbot and Pollo like to play. We know that they can perform when it matters the most, so I've got high expectations for them.
Look, tomorrow, we're gonna get absolute cinema! It's gonna be so good, I'm telling you. Look, let's dust off the tears, wipe them down, forget all the sadness. The players who are playing tomorrow are gonna put on an absolute show. That is one thing I can promise you.
That's right. Well, before we start taking the camera, I do want to get production, give me that graphic. Don't forget, we announced a bunch of things like the new Global Championship dates, where we're going, Belgium, a solo event, Major 2, The Last Chance. There's a blog. If this is the first time you're seeing it, go check it out, FN Comp on Twitter. Find the blog, read up yourself. There's brand new power rankings that Lev made a video on. There's an Acts of Unreal. It's Community Day happening right now. Jump in, double XP, typical gamer, got an icon skin. It's a lot. And we have finals tomorrow where we compete for $250,000 if we come out in first place and the title of Summit Champion. I'm out of breath. Fortnite fam, lock in tomorrow. We run it back 8 games, and it is going to be a movie. Until then, we love you. Keep yourself safe. We'll see you on that battle bus.
guy is playing on this stage next to Clix because he got a PC from Clix. Like that in itself is just madness to me, and a big start on the day, showcasing why this guy is seen as the next Peterbot in NA, the next big talent, the next big thing. He doesn't even look like the next big thing as far as talent-wise in NA. He has just been the best, right, at times, right? He's had so many great performances in Div Cups of late. Iomzo, we know what he can do. Seeing them do it on the stage in this first game was special, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing them continue to cook up.
Yeah, I picked up some solo points, as you can see there, and I got to tip my hat to the duo because early on off spawn, obviously they are uncontested, but an early push, you know, towards their way, they overcame though, man. They got the elimination there, and it kind of snowballed into the late game. Obviously, we kind of saw where the zone ended up. It did pretty much land where they do land in the early game, but obviously, you know, sometimes these games are not easy to play out. They made it look easy.
Can't lie, man. I'm excited. Aegis Ritual. I'm looking. I need these guys to qualify on through, right? Seeing them already have this strong start. Remember, big reminder, the format today is you either get the Victory Royale, you win and you're in. That's it. You don't have to play any more games, or we need to end in the top 19. This is a very strong first start for the duo, Viv.
Absolutely. And as you can see early off here, Aegis kind of left alone. And I feel like the story throughout the weekend, at least in these early couple of games, has always been the fact that there are just so many solos left alive in these lobbies, and making the most out of it is going to make the difference right there. As you can see, after he goes down, just feeling, you know, cool, calm, and collected. Hey, fist bumps all around, feeling good.
I don't worry about these two at all. I think when you look at the talent, the experience, the quality, I think these guys, whether they win a game, whether it will be through consistency, I think these guys will make it back. I think the biggest worry for me is just I'm just looking to Sunday and looking to see them in a position again, contested at Latte. We're not going to learn much from them today because it's going to be a completely different situation if they're able to qualify. And so, again, hopefully we see them continue to play their game and just warm into things a bit more.
Couple of duos there, though, I'm a little worried about, right? We saw Clix and Higgs fall a bit short. Akira, Kurama.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, look, again, it's just game one. I don't want to worry too much, but boys, we only have 5 more games, right? We need that VR. We need to be in top 19. Very, very tough, but it's all good because we've got game number 2 ready to go. Whatever happened in game number 1 doesn't matter. Every game can be a new game for these duos. So let's get ready to hop into game number 2.
One thing I can't help but notice here, though, Jacob, is the fact that some of our duos that weren't able to actually have that standout performance in game day number 1 have managed to succeed here in game day 2. So the best benefit of that, you know, a duo like Ritual, Aegis, I think that you have to remember they're already high up on the leaderboard. Now, if you want to get through on consistency, one more performance like that, and they're in it to win it.
Yeah, basically locked and loaded. And typically at this point in time, I'd be like, if a team wins, their drop spot is open. I'll tell you more about that in a second because game 2 is ready. As I was saying, usually a drop spot opens up when a team wins a game because they're no longer in the lobby. They advance directly to Championship Sunday. But if you look at where Pixie and Swizzy were landing, it was kind of a triple contested fight. So it's not going to get easier game 2.
Yeah, they already had plenty of company, but they managed to move out. They left everyone else behind. They'll worry about that for tomorrow. Vazen and Gerald, though, intent on contesting Epic Whale and Pump here at Riptides. But all that's going to do is extend an open invitation for the third-party scenario. All throughout Chapter 7, any teams that have been contesting each other at Riptides almost always results in both of them just getting wiped after the fact because it's such an easy position to get third-partied.
Yeah, especially with everyone around them uncontested. But Clix and Higgs, they're going to go ahead and take that long glide strategy. They're going to go ahead and get the top side of Wonky Land. You kind of saw there in a second on the map. King and Phaser are already down there on the south side of Wonky Land, already trying to loot up. That gives them a little bit of a timing advantage over Clix and Higgs. So if they get a loadout, in theory, Taco, we can see them play aggressive. But I drop with 1 elimination, but y'all will notice Marius is down.
Some unfortunate stuff, but sometimes the bus path does happen to work against you, and For other players in the lobby, they're always going to be looking up the moment that they touch down, trying to lock in that early surge. Chap, victimized yet again. Bon and Knight are really trying to deliver a lot of fight here at New Sanctuary. This southeast portion of the map just so active, because even over towards the southwest, Epic Whale Pump, they're still trying to see whether or not they can even start this engagement with Gerald and Bazin.
Yeah, and you're talking about other players moving on over. That's going to be Nathan on the top side of Riptides. He's forced out because Muzz and Sphinx were able to get that first elimination onto Nebs, but that just kind of puts Epic Whale and Pump in the middle, distracted by two different opportunities. The main focus is going to be the OCE town down below of Bazin and Gerald, where they have to watch out for any lurk plays. If they lose sight of them, that could be the end.
It's always hard to keep track of where exactly the lobby is moving towards, but for Giannis Cheatin, anytime you see that Flowberry Mist Grenade, you know there's a duo surrounding it, Xavier and Cazers. First time on the big stage, but they are still looking to try and pop off, really make a name for themselves. But those gray loadouts, not exactly what you want to be rocking up against some of EU's finest.
Yeah, we're already seeing some teams switch up drop spots, not necessarily going toward Dark Dominion, where Swizzy and Pixie just qualified out of. We're seeing them drop at little points all around the map. Even Giannis Cheatin, taking a different approach to this game. Instead of staying at studios to get their elims, they immediately are moving on out. Skyjump, Momsy, they find themselves in a pickle against Xpawn and Doxy. 2v2 situation, and Xpawn's gonna get that first knock onto Skyjump. Needs the elimination for the Siphon. HP is dwindling, but he has a couple of seconds. He has his teammate by his side. Momsy's gonna spray through the builds. He's gonna pre-fire to get that elim, leaving Momsy with no choice. He has to run and disengage for a second chance at life.
Normally when you see players lose like all of their HP, you expect them to just pull back. Xpawn was having none of it. He said, "You want to step up to me?" Momsy tried his best, threw his name into the hat, but he just wasn't ready to witness his duo fall. Just three back-to-back pumps, and that is really all it takes for Xpawn to bring down Skyjump.
They really had him pincered, two different angles. He is literally just throwing haymakers to stay alive. But Ju and Badil, 18 points from game one. It's not where they have hoped to land on the leaderboard, but it's about slowly but surely building up that confidence. When we look at consistency, it's going to be the top 19. They are just outside of that as of now, but King and Craze, they're looking to advance on a Cheatin and Flixie. First elimination, that one's going to be easy. Cheatin was left by himself. You can see King and Craze just dissected Giannis and Flixie to get the eliminations. Or I should say Cheatin, sorry.
Crazy and King Lane, they'll still have more work cut out for them, but 2 eliminations to round things off, that's always a nice little confidence builder. Granted, those two definitely had plenty of it, even heading into today's competition. Velo and Savage, though, checking back in on what's been building over near Squibbly Shores. Not surprised to see Velo in this surge base, and Agers with another elimination here onto Veloz. Ritual got to be feeling very good about what his duo has been able to bring forth here today. Yesterday, things a little bit shakier, a little bit more difficult, but even with Agers being a bit under the weather, his gameplay here today isn't looking like it.
Yeah, especially being uncontested. You play with a whole new freedom, knowing you got the entire POI to yourself. With one elimination, they know Jonas is going to be by himself, 2v1, trying to attack from both angles, jumping up and down, not trying to let him heal, not trying to let him get a breath of fresh air, and another shot from Agers can connect. Tries to spray into the box, not enough to get the knock, but him and Ritual are side by side. They're working together to make sure that they both don't take too much damage, but they're still in position to clean up this elimination.
And what's wild to think about is Ritual and Agers, they're fighting for their spot to try and get that rematch up against Reet and Cooper in tomorrow's finals. Agers still trying to see if he can finish what he started here, and sure enough, Ritual's gonna get the cutoff points there onto Jonas. 2 eliminations now for this duo, and a lot of wiggle room here because Latte Landing is wide open.
Yeah, and this is a team that you don't want to see get heated up, because when they start going, they are hard to stop. And now that they got their early game surge with those 2 eliminations, they're going to go back on over to Latte Landing. They have plenty of heals. They have a good enough amount of gold where they can use that mending machine, which allows them to overstay their welcome and use that long launch pad towards the back.
Oh, you can see it coming. Pablo waiting for the piece up, and sure enough, nowhere left for Minifio to run. What a box in, and Chino, the other half of the duo, standing out here on his own accord. A great set of eliminations for these two.
Yeah, all it takes is getting caught off guard 1 simple second. And that's what we've seen, you know, for the past couple of months. A lot of these lurk plays come into action, especially when players with these new surge changes, they're kind of just boxed up. They're in their towers, they're at their POI, and they don't expect to get snuck up on. And more it continues to work and find success here in this game. But just like I was talking about, Aegis and Rituals, long launch pad, Josh and Iamzo have the same thing. It takes you further, it takes you farther. You throw the Fizz in the mix, and you can across the map, but Xavier Sazers, they're trying to sneak attack onto Liam, and that first one looked like it was gonna work, but Liam turns, he burns him down, leaving Xavier by himself. 2v1 situation. They were confident before the game for a reason.
This is the nightmare scenario now, because that should have been it. Liam, though, he might still wind up being knocked here if he's not careful. Xavier is still just fighting, maybe even to restore a little bit of pride after that one. You think that you get the sneak attack, instead it's 180.
Jace instantly dropping that Fizz bomb. They're not in the zone just yet, so HP, you can see them trying to get the elimination, save it for the Siphon, but it's getting a little bit too risky. Liam 1 shot away from going down by Xavier, so he's instantly trying to pop that Chug, and they're not necessarily pressed right now to move quick. They're outside of the zone, not taking damage, and they have about 20 seconds before the zone forces them in, but they have to be careful. Another team in the distance, and that's Gone and Knight, and they've already switched up their drop spot. They contested Chap and Flixie, they eliminate him out of this game, and now they're ready to do it again here.
But if you're Liam and Jace, you don't have any reason to leave anytime soon. You know that Xavier is a solo. You know that you have more than enough white heals to actually extend your time inside of the storm. And not only that, but why not get more surge if you can? An isolated solo is going to be your best bet for another points opportunity off the elimination. Xavier trying to see just how much time he can really bide here, but Liam, Jace, they are feeling very aggressive, and I can't blame them. I mean, trying to sneak up on me?
Yeah, for Liam and Jace, though, I agree with you. At first, when it was a 2v1, you got to kind of take the fight. But the longer this one goes, Xavier is actually landing shots back. So even if they get this elimination, Taco, what does that do to their surge plan? Especially since Gone and Knight are still waiting just outside of this fight to beat anybody that breaks through those builds. So Liam and Jace, they have to make a decision, and they have to make a decision quick if this fight is worth it.
Could be possible for them to just opt for a further east rotation. We try and avoid where Gone and Knight are actually situated. Sometimes you gotta look elsewhere, and somewhere that has opened up just a little bit. It's going to be Dark Dominion, but it is bumping as ever. So many teams already in this POI. And for Koyota and Yuma, I think there's a lot of questions up in the air. Are they going to be able to have some of that practice game success? We saw them collect at least an extra bando off of delivering a victory royale in that performance, but this is the best time to do it. I mean, you want to be in the finals.
Yeah, and typically we kind of look at these guys, so when it comes to these international lands, they usually have some tricks up their sleeve. They're probably trying to save it for finals, but boys, we got to make it there. This is going to be your best chance as we go back on over towards New Sanctuary. Liam and Jace, they're still busy off the side of the map, but Sauco and Minute have now gained the attention of Gone and Knight inside of the New Sanctuary, and Minute and Sauco went down last game because of Storm Surge. They're not trying to make the same mistake twice, but he overpeaks. Knight lands a good shot, punch after punch. They're just taking too much damage before Sauco answers back with a shot of his own.
That's going to be enough to deter Gone and Knight, waiting to see whether or not they'll be able to actually continue this conversation. But there's still a decent amount of fighting left to be done here at New Sanctuary, because even the situation a little bit further southeast has seemingly cleared up. And I have to expect that that was very likely Liam and Jace finally finishing that elimination onto Xavier.
Now we can see if it's worth it when we tune into them. When Storage Surge pops up, Epic Whale Pump, even without that elimination at Riptide, you see them immediately try to rotate out of the zone. They know so many players usually do rotate around Battlewood, through Riptides, and even towards the north of Humble Hills, and they're just trying to get as much surge as possible. But just like I was talking about Liam and Jace in that fight, if you keep trading shots, not getting elims and not getting the better, you're going to end up in a position like this. You're above the damage threshold, but only by 49.
It's really just the damage ratios that have been the peak storyline for this weekend. because teams that are just eating as many shots as they're sending out, it's difficult to try and stay even. But right now, Clix, Higgs, utilizing everything they can off the map itself. A bit of a campfire, try and get some health restoration here. They've got pizzas, they've got med kits, and it looks like they're fully intending on trying to make a dead side approach, or they might be looking to see if they can find Pix and Ghost, who are known for sticking around in surge bases deep from Toy Box docks.
Yeah, and 186 damage, that's good for now, but as the game progresses, they're going to need to find just a little bit more. Salco Minute, they fall further and further below that damage threshold, 394. Essentially 2 full eliminations here are going to be needed by the team from NA West. And we know Minute, he's a good fighter. Salco, he can lead the pack, but right now it's go time, because when that Storm Surge activates, they're going to be on the clock to try to get some damage or the elimination. Salco breaks into the box, good damage on Nagan. He gets saved by Minute, but only for so long before Knight trades on that down. So it is going to come down to a 1v1. Minute looking to play aggressive, and it's going to be worth it.
But he might not even get to reap the benefits of this survival, because the third party has already decided to play an entrance here. Minute scrambling, trying to see if he can escape, but so much focus being sent his way, and now having to also deal with the surge itself. He doesn't even get a chance to try and heal up.
Just unfortunate, almost 500 below. They get one knock. They get another Elim back-to-back from Minute, but he's still 229 below. That was just disaster waiting to happen. And this is where I say you just got to take as much control of your game plan as early as possible. And I think from the online majors to here, we're seeing more and more teams rotate to the zone early on so they can get the position and not have to get that max pull.
It's always just a little bit rough when you do finally win such a drawn-out battle, and then if it's not the third party fully clearing you up, you're still having to deal with the likes of Surge. But these are the sorts of adaptations that players just have to naturally try and overcome here. As Nathan, he'll at least have a little bit of Surge to work with, but the clock's ticking. He's got to make it into zone too, and there is a decent amount of traffic in front of him.
Yeah, he's just barely above, and honestly, that's actually pretty good for what Nathan and Nevs have been through so far in this game, being above the damage thresholds. A little bit of survives, but a pleasant surprise at that. Kurama and Akira, again, just barely above 73. That's not much, and that shot is surely going to put him below. GR Rex, surprise attack out of nowhere. Kurama just going to get the shot from the side, but even though they get that elimination, they are now still below the damage threshold, and there's other players pressuring in this direction, not wanting to let them get full HP and shield.
They want to see whether or not they'll have an opportunity to try and take out Hamed too, but instead they're fully aware of the fact that there is some action taking place just a little bit right from where they're currently based up. Josh and Yamzo, though, find their first elimination onto Golden. They are above on Surge. It's really just about finding the perfect moment. You don't want to get lobbied on your next rotate in.
Yeah, this team right here is a little bit of a full circle moment of Josh and Iamzo. Years ago, Iamzo kind of being that fragger for Rise in the mix, getting close to the FNCS championship. And now Iamzo is that IGL, picking up the young fragger in Josh, who honestly has Clix to thanks for popping his career, because it was Clix who got on the PC and really started his whole trajectory. So for Iamzo and Josh, this needs to be a big day.
Pablo and Chino trailing just a little bit behind. Basin and Gerald were just spotted here at Battlewood Boulevard. They're gonna opt for a more low ground position currently. Definitely doing a great job at avoiding a lot of folks in the rest of the lobby. That is until Basin and Gerald finally spot them out inside a little sewer opening here, and now that's an open invitation. Everyone else in the lobby looking their way.
Yeah, kind of going from uncontested in the EU finals to here. Pablo and Chino just having a little bit of a struggle here in day one, and kind of breaking through the mold in day two. They just need a little bit more consistency. Fadil and Ju, same thing, 26 points, 118 above the damage threshold. Relatively close to it turning off, but a couple of quick tags there is going to put them right on the line. 32 damage above. They're making their way in towards zone. It's not going to be hard to find a spot there, but the next zone is really going to be everything, because if they get a max pull, good luck to them and their Surge clan.
taking a look to everybody in this lobby just about. There is so much congestion that is already pooled on this edge of the zone, but Badil, he'll have to find his own way forward here. Clix and Higgs, they took the scenic route to make it into zone, but they're having to deal with so many surge issues, and Clix, he won't be able to make it out. That is just another sour ending here in game 2.
Yep, but luckily for the format of today, it doesn't matter where you're at on the leaderboard. All you need to do is win a game, and as Frankie said, that's your golden ticket directly to Championship Sunday. But the pressure could be felt all around the arena today. When these players go down, you can feel it, Taco. The passion kind of playing out as Mary's and I drop. They're feeling it as well. 12 below. It isn't much, but Storm Surge, you don't go down. You get straight eliminated out of the lobby, and with no heals left, he has 2 ticks he can take. Less than 14 seconds. I drop, has to make a play, but it gets denied.
He just did not have enough HP. It was... I don't want to say impossible, but it basically was, Jacob. At least he did the best with what he could. Still, they need to find more after the fact, but for everybody else still left in this lobby, the Nikush Tigs, they came in second in game 1. They're obviously trying to see if they can secure that win. They've been feeling very confident from 100 ping to 0. Now is their best chance to strike. Is Velo working his way in backside the zone. Everybody looking his way, though. Doesn't really have a whole lot of options, and he'll be picked off before he gets the chance.
Yeah, big elim though for Badil and Ju. That's their 3rd elimination of the game. That's 12 points straight off of their aggressive ability, and now they're inside of the top 25. Placement points are starting to come in, and with each and every team that falls, they start to cascade further and further, and of course, you get that 1,000 points for the victory royale. And it goes to show, like, looking at the leaderboards yesterday, I saw a team qualify to Sunday. It's just 3 decent games, but it doesn't feel like that in the moment.
What Badil and Ju really did best there, though, was front side of zone, and they cleared a path for themselves. Everyone else is going to have to run straight to them, and they're doing a great job at just gatekeeping that edge of zone they were at. But Lucy Zangi will have a lot to overcome if they want to make it in. But it seems like disaster has struck. We look away for 1 second, Jacob, and all of a sudden, it's Badil by himself. He at least has the pizza box to work with, but Pastroki, Repairs, Koyota, they're all making their way forward. And for what looked like a solid spot to be in, now might be worst case scenario. But Badil, we've seen the solo clutches before.
Yeah, and it's only 4 players that need to go down. You can attempt to out-heal this Pacino. He doesn't have the amount of heals needed to survive the Storm Surge. For now, it is going to be the med kit, but the zone is also moving in. But he gets a little bit of a cutback, extra time to work with, and it's time that he desperately needs because he's in on a clock, and that clock is running down fast. 3 more ticks. That's all he can take. Less than 20 seconds. Chino has to make a move. Nobody's falling, Taco. 4 players, and Storm Surge is no longer a worry.
And Chino, he's trying to see if he can get the shot, but he won't make it. A player lying in wait. He'll go down, but Badil still keeping the ball rolling here. 187 above, 1 pizza slice, 1 overdrive grenade, lurking, crouching, waiting, hoping that he can find another big shot. Everything at this stage, waiting to see if he can deliver another big win here. But Akira and Karama, they've at least found Liam, and that'll be enough to buy them some good time.
It feels like they're not forcing fights or eliminations. They're kind of letting the game naturally present itself. And there goes another one on the Repairs, back to back, as they take down Fastroki as well. But it comes with its own sacrifice. Akira is going to fall. All the pressure now onto Karama's shoulders.
You look one way, you got to make sure you're checking the next, and Badil takes down Visuals. That's the exact sort of refresh that he's hoping for. Every little bit of siphon materials to help catapult him forward, and now he's feeling confident enough. Why not take another layer up? He's trying to see if he can make it through on that secondary height position, and not only that, looking downwards, trying to see if he can gauge whether or not there's a player more in tatters than him for him to try and eliminate. He'll drop down, he's got the movement effects, waiting, but no options just yet.
And all that's going down below, Kodasi's gonna fall. Nutty and Gabzetta, they went ahead and Shockwave to take the high ground. There's a new team high up in the clouds that everybody has to worry about. Cut through the middle is gonna be King and Kraze. Just trying to take position on the front side of the zone. Meanwhile, Vidil and Karama are doing their best as solos here. They're one of few solos actually left in this game.
As long as they can stay towards the front side, they might be able to make it out, but Ritual and Ager is now front side low. They'll have the best opportunities out of everyone to see who is more scraps than them. Ritual only has one build remaining, but Vidil, he's found his target. He won't be able to bring it out, though, and that's going to be the end of the run here. Kraze and Kingaling, though, still making their way forward.
Yep, Nutty Gabzera is just not letting anybody down below feel comfortable, especially for the players on second height, as Virgo looking to go big, lands that one shot, but being by yourself means you have to play a little bit careful and a little less loose. Down below, those eliminations get steamrolled by King and Kraze, but again, it all comes with a sacrifice. Now Kraze is going to be left by himself. They have 5 eliminations. They're trying to push themselves into the top 5, and every single point matters. With Aegis of Ritual, they're going to get that elimination, but again, it costs them as well.
Ritual and Aegis thought they had that front side control, but you just can't afford to look away. Now Virgo gonna try send it onto high. Karama has fallen. Virgo won't make it out. Nudie and Gabzetta might just be finding themselves in the finals. Battle Bus